Hey guys, I'm here with Jules Hunt from Ohm and the City, and we just finished filming an online workout and online meditation for you, and now we're just catching up after class. So, Jules, thank you so much for coming to Portland.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, I want to know, I guess just start off by telling a little bit about yourself and how you got to where you are.
So I'm a wellness blogger. I have a really cute, awesome dog named Luna, and I have a ton of houseplants, and that's all you need to know.
Everything.
Everything. But yeah, so I guess I started my blog 4 years ago. It was purely out of just wanting to have an outlet. I was working in the fashion industry, and it was a very stressful job for me, and I just needed something to kind of just express like everything that I had been doing as my alter ego, I guess. So I started my blog, and it was actually starting in natural skincare. So I started talking about coconut oil and how it cleared up my cystic acne, which to this day, that's what I use on my skin daily and nightly.
Wow.
So it's really done wonders. So I guess from there, I was just blogging about that, and then
You made the leap into doing your own thing, which, as you know, someone who's a pretty new business owner, that's incredibly inspiring to me. Like, were you scared when you went out on your own?
Yeah, I was definitely nervous, but I felt really secure in the fact that like this is what I want to do, and I've tried all these other jobs that just were not working for me, and I just felt really ready, and I had been saving and planning, so it wasn't completely out of the blue.
Yeah, it wasn't like spontaneous, like
Yeah.
on a whim.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I'm ditching everything,
Right.
I'm out of here. Yeah. Well, yeah, one of the biggest things that inspires me about Jules is just the way that she builds community, and she's so inclusive, and she does all of these like pretty major things, you know, on her own. She's like a little powerhouse, but you know, she doesn't let self-doubt and fear get in the way. So I don't know, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What advice do you have for someone who like can't break that cycle of negative self-talk or fear?
I think a lot of it's just coming into figuring out who you are as a person, and like that's always changing and always evolving. But I think when you stop focusing so much on the outside world and all of the buzz and focusing more inward, that's when you're going to find the answers that you're looking for. Because for me, I struggled so much with anxiety. I had an eating disorder when I was in high school and college. I had depression, and I just didn't really feel secure in who I was. And I think that, you know, there's growing pains to go through, and it's normal to question what you're doing. Like even to this day, I'm like, what am I doing? Like, what's my path? Everyone's searching for that. But I think it's just knowing that what you need to know is already inside of you, and just being secure and knowing that you're gonna figure it out. Just don't be so hard on yourself. You have to roll with the punches. And I think people always need to know that there's something waiting over the hill. So you just have to keep going, keep being open to new opportunities and experiences and people. Don't be afraid to reach out, ask for help. Don't be afraid to bounce ideas around with other people that are creative and vibing off of you. You just definitely wanna like surround yourself with good people, and yeah.
Totally. I mean, everything that you're talking about resonates so deeply with me in terms of, you know, the answers coming from within. And really, that's like what I love about meditation. Like, I felt really similar to you, just searching for all of these answers in other places. Like, oh, maybe if I do more sumo squat or more squats, or maybe if I, you know, drink more green smoothies, like I'll feel better, or I'll like have this massive epiphany. But really,
Yeah.
like
you can find inspiration from people online, but at the end of the day, it's really about how do you feel. So like you can listen to people and take ideas, but really it's like, how does that make me feel? And does that serve my body the way it serves that person's body? Everyone's different. So yeah, it is all within.
Nice. That's awesome. And I wish that like I figured that out a lot sooner.
Me too, me too.
What inspires you? Like, how do you stay creative? Like, first of all, your imagery and just, you know, your brand is so incredibly beautiful and fun.
Thank you.
You know, it's like so full of energy.
It's such a process.
Yeah.
It takes time to figure out, you know, your vibe and your brand. Like I'm still always tweaking things and learning more about editing, and I really love editing photos, and it's really just an art to me. I think my boyfriend Andrew actually really inspires me, because he he's so ambitious and creative, and he just, I don't know, he just always has this desire to keep learning, and so for me that's inspiring. So I always want to keep, you know, just sharpening the tools. And I think it's good, like I said, like getting inspiration online, but I think when I feel the most inspired or I get an idea, it's either when I'm reading a book or if I'm hiking, riding a bike, if I'm just like really vibing with how I'm feeling that day and I'm not surrounded or distracted by technology, that's when the big ideas come, the realizations. And Andrew can like, Andrew can attest to this. When I'm walking with him on the street, I'll be like, oh my gosh, we have to do this. And I'm like going like 100 miles per hour, just saying so much stuff. And he's like, oh my gosh, what is happening right now? I'm like, I'm having an idea.
So those moments of like actually stepping away from your computer have been kind of your biggest, you know, aha moments.
Exactly.
That's awesome. And then I know you're huge into travel too. Do you get your inspiration through traveling? Or?
Oh, totally. Yeah, I feel like I always want to be going somewhere, and it's usually, I love Central and South America, and I'm always looking for the next place I can go to. So I try to, you know, like live in the present and enjoy where I am. You know, I live in New York City, so there's a lot going on there, but I still am always just kind of wanting to take that next trip because I feel like I'm young, I got to do it and just explore. I feel like that's part of my growth too and development as a human. Like I need to see those other cultures and practice my Spanish, even though I'm not great at it.
Oh my gosh, you and I both can both be like gringos abroad.
Gringos abroad.
Yeah, so good. And so Jules did her yoga teacher training. It was Nicaragua, right?
Nicaragua.
Can you tell me about your yoga practice and just how that fuels everything else that you do?
So yoga is a huge part of my life. I think it was a larger part of my life when I first got into it because I was almost like borderline obsessed because I guess the very first time I found yoga was actually in high school and I didn't like it. I thought it was really boring and too quiet and I started laughing in class and I was just way too immature to be doing yoga. So then fast forward to college, I was interning for this owner of a boutique and she also owned a yoga studio. So she's like, if you're a free intern, you can get unlimited yoga. I'm like, cool, that's fine with me. So I started taking like 4 to 5 times a week and I just was like nonstop loving it and just seeing how my body was changing, and it was in such a fun, like didn't feel like a workout, it felt more spiritual to me. And so I guess I started to really appreciate my body and stop like all the self-hate talk and just really trying to, you know, appreciate what I have in that moment. And I think my yoga teachers during that time were just so impactful to me as like a hormonal college girl and who really just needed someone who seemed to have it all figured out. I even had a yoga teacher take me grocery shopping, and I don't think she realizes how much that meant to me, because as someone who looked at food as my enemy, and then having her say like, well, let's go to this healthy food mart and I'll show you what I buy at the grocery store. So it really went further than just yoga. It was really just a community and an experience, and it just completely shaped everything. So I think that was a huge part of my life then. And I think now that I've become more secure in who I am and what I do, yoga, it's like a complement to my life, but it's not my entire life. So I'm still like, you know, I work hard, so I have lots of other things going on. So I don't do yoga 4 to 5 times a week like I used to, and that's okay.
Totally.
Even sometimes, like I do it once a week, and that's okay if that's where I am at that moment. So I think it's just riding with the waves.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because I know like so many of us feel guilt over like not exercising enough or not meditating enough or just not doing enough. And sometimes like it's okay to like take breaks or do a little less. You know?
Yeah, there's definitely times where I'm like, you know what, I'm not going to get a single workout in this entire week because I have to focus, I have deadlines, and that's just what it is. So, you know, I'm going to do my best to like stick to staying calm. And I think breathing, if I can just sit and breathe for 10 minutes, that's really important. But if I can't get a full-on workout, I can't beat myself up about it. Yeah. But I also do know that working out makes me happy. So if I feel like I don't have time for it, really just thinking like, okay, well, what can I make time for? Just 10 minutes, that's gonna reroute my day and make me feel a whole lot better.
Totally.
It's just kind of listening to your body.
Yeah, and you seem to be really into the short little bursts. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen Jules's videos online with her dog Luna. They're so cute.
Thank you.
Luna is her yogi partner.
It's
or
really,
so it seems.
yeah, I mean, people watch these videos, they'll realize why it's so hard to do yoga at my house, because she's just likes to weave in between my legs. She is always grabbing her toys, and she like hits me with her paw like, hello, why aren't you paying attention to me?
No, what a sweetie.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have so many things that I want to ask you, but I guess 2 more questions. One, what is your favorite book ever? And if you can't pick one, like, you could give me a couple.
Oh my gosh. There's so many books that I like. Well, I'm currently reading Woman Code. I feel like that's a very popular book right now, but for good reason. I think it has helped me so much with understanding my gut health and my cycle and hormones, and that's something that I'm personally just like trying to figure out right now. So I'd say Woman Code. Tiny Beautiful Things. I love that book. You gave it to me, and it is such a tearjerker, and man, it's a deep book. I love it.
Yeah, Cheryl Strayed's a Portland author, and I give all of my friends that book because it just blows my mind. So it's called Tiny Beautiful Things. It's really amazing.
Yeah, that's
just
a great book.
Reminds you it's okay to be human and like imperfect.
Yeah, and I guess well, a little fun fact about me is that in college I was a really big comic book reader. So I read all sorts of Neil Gaiman, and I was really following like the DC comics, and I think back then it was like Vertigo. I read like the old comics, so Sandman.
Oh my God, so cool.
I loved comic books, so I guess that's something that I wish that I could make more time for, instead of always reading the nonfiction books and you know, like listening to podcasts that fill my brain with like good fuel and good knowledge. But sometimes I'm like, give me the comic books, give me all the weird sci-fi characters.
Yeah, no, I totally identify, not with the comic book thing, that's cool, but like just wanting to turn off and kind of enjoy a novel or a story versus like educational content.
Yeah, both are good.
Yeah. Okay, and then last question, what is, well, okay, it's 2 parts. It's like, what is really firing you up right now? And are you like, can you give us a hint about anything that's going to come ahead in the future?
So there's something pretty major that's going to happen this year, 95% sure. So I'm really excited to let people know about that. But for now, I'll just leave it at that.
Cliffhanger.
So besides that, I'm really just trying to focus this year on deepening my knowledge, and you know, like people can get really caught up in the online social media space, but I really want to focus on like, what do I have to give? What new information can I share? How can I be more, you know, in line with my truth, and how can I better serve people? So I think I'm really just focusing on answering those questions, and just want to keep learning and growing and doing my thing.
Yeah, well, you do it so well.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what is on the horizon for you personally and your brand. And
thank you.
Yeah, I just adore you. Thank you for coming.
I adore you too. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.